introduction of you,
Okay.
if you don't mind. So
Yeah.
you guys, Carrie and I are just so incredibly grateful that we get this opportunity to introduce you all to Lindsey. We just finished a really, really powerful course with Lindsey that really taught us the value of using Facebook groups to grow our database and how to automate this and really use it purposefully and intentionally. So to give you a little bit of background about Lindsey, she comes from a marketing background. She was able to grow and build the Mill Housing Network Movie Night Facebook group to over 2,500 military families who enjoy collaboration and community and a virtual movie night every quarter. She also created the Mill Housing Network podcast, where she hosts and grew the Mill Housing Nation show to over 10,000 listeners annually. She does her Facebook Live series, the PCS show, which helps an audience of 45,000 military families relocate to new duty stations. And she supports these programs through generating revenue and negotiating sponsorship. And she's actually been able to receive over $500,000 of revenue through her Facebook group. So she's absolutely spectacular. Like I said, we're just really honored to be able to create this platform that we hope all of you are able to resonate with. So Lindsey, I will allow you now to share, and we're really excited for you to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here too. Thank you. That was an awesome intro. Hopefully I live up to all the hype for you guys. So I'm Lindsey, and today we're going to be talking about Facebook groups. And we're going to be talking about how to use Facebook groups to build, grow, and scale leads and your database, and to do that through automation. So a little bit about me. I'm an active duty military spouse. So Haley mentioned I've done a lot within the military community. I got into real estate in 2014 and was Rookie of the Year my first year while my spouse deployed. So I had 2 babies. I had this picture that I wanted to share with you guys. I'll try and dig it up, but it's me holding a bunch of contracts with my son on my hip, riding an elevator to drop off earnest money because that was my first year in real estate. I joke that my son sold more real estate than most realtors because he was along for the ride. But I doubled my business. I added leverage into my business early. We added systems, we added team members. By year 3, I sold 120 houses, and I moved states. Yay, military. So I went from Texas to Colorado. I quickly learned that there was this thing called referrals, and military families move all over the country. So we launched a referral network called Mill Housing Network, and we have over 3,000 pre-screened military specific agents in our network that receive our referrals. And over the last 5 years, we've closed over 100 million in referrals. I sold my real estate shares in my real estate team about 2 years ago, launched a new endeavor because I love helping people. So I started coaching and training others. And I am really here to talk about how when you set up the right systems, you can build freedom for yourself. So you can do things like mountain biking all day long, which is my first love in life, aside from marketing. So before we get started, I really wanted to make this interactive because I hate being on presentations where you're being talked at. So I want this to be as interactive and as meaningful as possible for everyone on the call. So if you guys want to respond in chat or take yourself on mute if you're willing to share, but I just want to have everybody take a moment. And I want to understand, where is everybody at in their stage of business? Are you currently a solo agent operating at a high level? Is this your first year? Is this your 10th year? Have you been selling real estate for 25 years? What stage of business are you currently at? Is anyone willing to share?
I'll chat.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Hey, fellow mill spouse.
Yes! Woo, woo! Okay, what branch?
Air Force, 7 PCSs in under 10 years, including other countries. I have 2 kids, one with autism. Husband now is finishing out in the reserves here. So we'll be here for 5 years and then who knows where.
Jen, we're instant BFFs. We're Air Force too.
Yes.
So you were saying your stuff and I was like, is this the PCS pay it forward thingy? Like, I'm like, is this what this is?
No, that's
No,
Lauren,
okay.
that's
I was
Lauren
like, I
Taylor. Lauren Taylor, another military spouse, EXP agent. Lauren's awesome. Her and I are good friends too.
That is so cool. Oh my God. It's like, I hear about you women all the time, and holy mackerel, I love EXP for this reason. It's so freaking cool. I have just met so many awesome spouses. So I'm hitting year 2 in my business, and I joined EXP back in February. I was with a local smaller brokerage. And I was struggling to have like personal business growth. I did great my first year. I definitely had great sales. I had great numbers, but I wanted to do more, and I just didn't have the resources. I recently started a Facebook group for female investors on a whim. I just told Carrie, like, I'm just, and by the way, it took me a month just to make a post, and I didn't anticipate to make a Facebook group. I just said, hey, I had to be a stay-at-home mom for 7 years because my son has autism. But recently, a few years ago, I went back to work. I left the field of social work because I was a prior social worker. And I feel like I'm playing the catch-up game on my own personal finances, although I'm very grateful for my spouse. I, for 14 years, stepped back out of my career. And, he moved up in ranks. He got his dream career. He flies for FedEx now and living his best life. And I was like, I swear I went to college for like 7 years and I got brain cells up there. So anyways, I made a post, and already 75 women have joined in under 5 days.
Yes.
Carrie helped me get some amazing speakers. I reached out to my financial advisor and a few other people I knew. They were willing to speak. And then Carrie got some like huge hitters. And it's just having to do with like women learning about finances, because we often forget. And I posted it the other day. On Sundays, we can post on our local Shepherd Air Force Base page.
Yep.
And I got 10 more spouses. And they've been messaging me, and they're like, hey, I have a friend who's a military spouse. Can she join the group?
Oh my gosh. You are going to love what we talk about today.
Yes,
she is. And then Jen, I just went through the coaching session with Lindsey because I have my own Facebook group. Haley and I are putting together for agent attraction here at EXP. And so, as you now develop this group, it may be something you want to go through. So I already intended to have you guys probably meet. And there's probably some of you who have niche groups or have started groups or are thinking about it. It can be your local community. It can be a whole bunch of things. And as you learn from Lindsey, this can be anything that you really want it to be, something passionate, something that you're excited about. Then how do you actually grow this in the right way with some good systems and automation? Because like Jen and me and Lindsey and everybody on this call, we can't be doing everything manual. We don't have enough time for that, but we want to bring really great value and have a great community. So it's going to be really, really awesome. So for those of you to keep us all on track, can everybody chat in the chat box the answers to these questions, if you don't mind, so Lindsey can read them. How many years, what stage of business? Are you growing a team? Are you a new agent? Are you trying to grow your revenue share group at EXP? Like Jen is, I know Jen's really on a mission for that and doing some great things. And also looking at your business through the last few years, what are a few problems you've noticed? This is going to help Lindsey help you. And also, if you haven't started a Facebook group, Lindsey, I'm hopeful after people are on this call today, they're going to be like, I should start one. And now I have an idea of what, right?
Yes, exactly. So please put your answers in the chat. I am going to keep us cruising. And the purpose of these questions is really for me, like Carrie said, for me to understand like where you're at and what level of business, because what we're going to talk about today is taking a proven model and applying it to a new tool, the tool being Facebook groups. I'm going to show you how, proven models work within whatever tool we use, and then how we can predict where we can go in the future. And that's what I love about EXP is that everybody's so forward thinking. They're already ready to go. You guys are decentralized by nature. So you guys are going to love what we can do with groups. New agent. All right. And we've got somebody licensed for 21 years and wants to go rev share. That's awesome. Okay. So I am going to get us to the next slide here, which is asking questions on one of the interesting questions that I always like to ask is, when you lay awake at night, because we're all independent contractors, what are some of the things that you think about? Like what's keeping you up at night? And then something else that I want us to really consider is that, you know, we all left jobs in pursuit of our freedom. And what we have found in pursuit of the freedom is that before you know it, our freedom is slowly taken away from us because now we're consumed with wearing all the hats in our business. We're doing transactions, we're generating revenue by meeting with brand new agents, we're building our team, we're doing all these different things. How can automation and systems really, like what I'm going to show you guys today, really help you get some of that freedom back? Because I will tell you guys, I love to do marketing. I've been doing marketing for over 15 years. I started in corporate marketing and then I got into real estate. I generated tons of leads through online means simply because I understood how Facebook worked. And what I love about it is I don't want to be on 24/7 because I want to be riding my bike and I want to be hiking. I got a trip to hike Kilimanjaro next year. I'm going to take a couple weeks off to go do that. So how can we put the systems and the people in place to help us keep things moving forward? And I'm going to talk about how we can do that through groups this week. So we're going to break this cycle. We're going to break the cycle of thinking, I've got to be working 80 hours a week to stack my pipeline. Because why is that cycle broken? Well, because at some point you're going to give out. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our freedom again, and we're going to build something that we can grow, and we're going to build something that we can scale. So when I think about these three ideas, I think that if I'm going to build something, I've got to build a community. So kind of like Jen. Jen has understood, and you saw that instant rapport. The minute she said she was an Air Force spouse, ooh, and then I heard her husband flies for FedEx. I was like, oh, my husband's a pilot too. There's this Facebook group, girl, that I could add you into, right? Because we want to share, we want to be part of the same community. We want to cultivate engagement when we grow these communities, because the engagement is going to create a snowball effect for us on getting our content out there. And then once we do that, well, we got to have a backbone of systems that supports that for our follow-up, and that supports that for getting leads, adding to our database. All right. Again, not the best with the PowerPoint. Oh, there we go. So some of the problems that I hear when we talk about building things, especially Facebook groups, are I don't have a database. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to connect with my database. And the biggest objection I hear all the time is, Lindsey, girl, I don't have time for this. Anybody else? Anyone else got some junk monkeys they want to throw in there on this one? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. The other thing I hear when it talks about growing, Lindsey, I don't know social media. I don't know how to build and write campaign emails. No way. And I don't know what to say to my audience. I don't know how to make videos, right? All of these coming up for you as we talk about Facebook, as we talk about what to post. These are things that I hear all the time. And I'm here to say, yeah, you do. Yes, you do. And scaling, this is a big one. So once we build something, we have to be able to build it on an infrastructure that will allow us to scale. And these are some of the problems that we always hear. The objections. I don't have time. Girl, I don't know systems. I hate managing details. I don't know how to delegate to my team, or I don't have a team is a big one, right? Because we're wearing all the hats in our business. So let's talk about what has worked for most agents in the past. Well, what has worked well for a lot of agents is direct mail, right? Who here is currently using direct mail in their marketing strategy? Miss Carrie. Anyone else? You can throw it in the chat if you're shy. All right, well, Carrie, I'm going to walk you through this. So the blueprint for using direct mail successfully in your marketing is you create a list. You're going to upload your list into some sort of system that's going to send out your stuff. You're going to think of call to action. So what do you want people to do when they get your postcard? Most of the time it's like, call me, right? We're usually doing it for listing farming. So we're sending it out. We're saying, hey, just listed, just sold, just on market kind of thing. Call me if you want a CMA, right? That's a typical call to action that we use. You're going to create a series because there's one thing that we know about direct mail. What is that, Carrie? Can we send it for a month and expect return?
It's consistency, time on task over time.
And so usually they say you got to commit to about a year of direct mail. Any big agent that does farming is going to tell you got to commit for about a year. If you commit to about a year worth of farming, you're going to get at least a couple of appointments, right? And then we're going to track our appointments. We're going to say, cool, I had a listing appointment there. Great. We signed a contract, or we didn't sign a contract. So we're going to track that for a year. If you do this consistently, average price point on direct mail is about $4,600 for 500 postcards once a month. Okay. All right. But that is the blueprint. All right. What's the blueprint of email marketing? Ooh, who's using email marketing? We first had direct mail, then email came out. Email was like, ooh, we could do this cheaper, faster, right? So then they created email marketing. Well, email marketing follows a very similar blueprint, right? You're creating a mailing list, you're uploading that into some sort of system. You have call to actions in your emails. If you don't, please connect with me. We will talk about your call to actions. You're going to create a series of newsletters. My secret formula is you create 12 newsletters that go out, and then you have 12 engagement emails. And if anybody has read Millionaire Real Estate Agent, regardless of who you're with, right? It's kind of the holy grail of all the things that we should do as realtors. It talks about a 36 touch. Well, this gives us about 24 touches if we do a series of 12 newsletters and 12 engagement emails. And then we've got to commit. We've got to commit to doing this for about a year. We're going to see something out of it, or they're going to, they're going to basically say, girlfriend, quit sending your stuff, but we're going to see something. We're going to book some appointments and we're going to track our results. If you're doing this, most people think email is free. Well, friends, it's not. You usually have to pay for an email provider. And if you're like me and you don't love writing email copy, you're going to outsource that. You're going to pay somebody to do that. So about $3,000 a year if you're outsourcing your email marketing. All right. Noticing the blueprint, right? All right. Now let's take it up a step. Who's doing online ads? Or who's paying? Let me throw this one out there. Who's paying for Zillow? Who's paying for Realtor? No, ooh, nobody. All right, I like that. I like that. Entrepreneurs, yes, love my XP agents. All right. Well, if you were paying for your own line, ooh, Erica, you paid for Realtor, but you dropped it. Well, here's the blueprint that anyone that you're paying for ads, this is what they're doing. I'm going to throw Realtor under the bus on this one because this is all Realtor does. They've gotten real good at targeting their demographics and pay-per-click, right? So they're going to go in, they're going to target a list based on a certain area, based on what people are buying, based on demographics. They're going to create call to actions to get people to click. They're going to adjust based on compliance, based on your state. That's getting real complicated online, FYI. You're going to dictate a budget. You're going to say, hey, I don't want to spend more than, now if you're working with realtors, we all know you're going to pay a premium. Now, if you're creating your own ads and you're working with a person to create that through your Facebook, you're going to create a daily budget, which turns into a monthly budget. And anybody that you work with online stuff is going to tell you, you got to commit for at least 3 to 6 months. And you've got to have consistent ad spend on that to really see appointments and to see those appointments turn into actual appointments, because we all know that it's about 70% for online leads to get to actual appointment. So we're going to track our results. The average cost, now this is a few years old, right? 2017, 1 in 8 realtors was spending more than $20,000 a year. in online advertising with the top agent spending more than $80,000 a year? Is anyone on this call spending that kind of money on pay-per-click? Nope. Nope. Gotta know my audience. Hey, if somebody in here was like, listen, I'm spending 500,000 and I'm seeing a 5x return, that is amazing. All right. 32K your first year. Okay. Jen, what kind of results did you see from your spend? Okay, not bad. Not bad. I like it. You about want to see a 3x return on anything that you spend online. So that's pretty good, Jen. All right. So what do all of these things have in common? Anybody? Bueller? Carrie knows I am annoying about getting you to participate.
What do they have in common? Somebody knows. Don't
Come
be shy.
on.
Cost
Cost
and
of time. Ooh, good. Yes. Doing something consistent. Yep. Yep. Anything else? I feel like Haley's got some good stuff in here. Haley, spending money. Yeah.
What do they all have in common? I'm sitting here thinking like, well, I guess if you're paying for leads, you don't own your own client acquisition strategy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me switch it up.
they're cold. Like they all start kind of cold. Like you have to do it. You don't have a relationship built with these people yet.
Yep. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. All right. They need a system. Yep. Yep. Second question, what are they all missing? I like that Violet responded, they need a system. That is one of the things they are missing for sure. Has any other observations about what they're missing? Yeah, they're not personal.
A relationship.
A relationship. Yeah. Quality. Yeah. Quality is another good one. So here's some things that I noted when I was building this out. Is it on, so on this, I'm sorry, on this left,
Puppies.
on the left side, we see we're building a list. One second. Oops, nope. All right, we are building a list, but are we building a community? When we look at all those strategies that I just went through, it requires us to upload the information, or it requires us to say, these are our people. Now, when I look at growing that, it's one-sided engagement, right? It's pushing messages to them. It's saying, listen, here's my postcard, call me, right? It's saying, here's my Facebook ad, click on it. It's one-sided communication versus a Facebook group, which is community-driven, it's member-driven engagement content. So it's actually getting your feedback, instant feedback from your community, and with them telling you what's most important to them. So that feedback, when it comes to insights for your marketing, when it comes to insights on if you were to do Facebook ads or if you were to do direct mail, that insight can allow you to craft email messaging and content messaging that is right in their sweet spot, because you know what they care about, because you're hearing it directly from them. And then when we talk about scaling, when we look at the blueprint of all the things that we just went through, there is a proven system that works in the past, right? We know direct mail is going to work for if we do it consistently. We will see some result. I have used direct mail. I have booked listing appointments off of direct mail and it works, but you got to be consistent about it. I've used email marketing and it's part of my strategy and it works. It's a proven system, but you got to be consistent at it. And then Facebook ads, I'm going to be the first to say, I have not spent very much money on Facebook ads. I play in the organic pool, which is what I'm going to show you today. And what we can do with Facebook groups is we can actually automate the system because it is proven to work for us today. And I want to emphasize this. What works today might not work tomorrow. We know Facebook groups are working really, really well today, yet we have to be cognizant of where are we going tomorrow? So it is the tool that I use today, but I'm also researching and always staying abreast of what's next, because we don't want to get stuck into consistent using it as the only tool in our toolbox, just like direct mail. If it's our only tool in our toolbox, then we become beholden to it, and we might be missing bigger opportunities to build, grow, and scale. So I want to show you what the Facebook group blueprint looks like. And I want you guys to take notes, right? I kind of walked you through 3 examples, and we got some feedback about what they all have in common. I want you guys to notice that Facebook groups uses the same blueprint, just adds in a couple extra steps that allow us to use a tool that's existing in the current market and to kind of pour some gasoline on it. It's kind of awesome. So when we look at the Facebook group blueprint, we're still creating an ideal group member list, right? Because we want to know who are the people that we're talking to. I even like to, and Carrie can say this, like I get as nerdy as creating a persona. So I know that Brittany is my ideal target market when it comes to my Facebook group. Brittany drives a minivan. Brittany has 3 kids. She's a military spouse. Brittany participates in, volunteer activities. We get really nitty-gritty about understanding who are our ideal group members. Then we create a community. So just like the other platforms where we uploaded and we put something somewhere, we got to do this somewhere. So we got to create the community. We got to create the group. We still have call to actions. We're creating content just like we do, but we're going to create engaging content that drives participation. So 2-way convo versus 1-way. We're going to commit, just like we did on all the other platforms. We got to commit to this strategy. You got to commit at least a year to really see this thing take off. And then we're going to create a system. Here's something that I've added to this blueprint, is I like to create a system that pre-screens leads. Who here has time to call back every single lead that puts an inquiry on your website? Who's doing that right now? Oh, Jed, I love it. Yes. Okay. And that's okay. I did it too. We all do it, right? Carrie did it too, right? And then we put systems in place that help us pre-qualify those people so that the system can kick out what I like to call gold nuggets, because I only want to deal with the gold nuggets. I don't want to deal with all the sand that's mixed in the nuggets. I'd like for something to shake out all that sand before I get my nuggets. Because Jen, your husband's fine. I know what that life's like. And I've got 2 kids as well. You want to book appointments because we're going to have the system that shakes out the leads so that you've got a hot list for your appointments. We're going to automate adding everybody into your database. This is like super game changer, guys. You can actually use Facebook groups to add people to your database automatically. Who here understands the principle, like my database is the only thing that I own? Like that is the only thing that you own. You don't own the Facebook group. You don't own your Facebook page. You don't own your realtor reviews. You don't own your Google reviews. Anybody can turn that spigot off tomorrow. The only thing that you own is your database. And we got to grow it. It's like a seed. We plant it and we got to water it, and we want it to grow into this beanstalk, right? Because we want it to be as big as possible. What if we can automate that so that you're not spending? I have some coaching clients, one-on-one clients that I work with. We're talking like movers and shakers here, right? That are hand entering in data. No more. We are going to automate. We're going to track the results from it. And here's the other game changer. Like Carrie said, I'm going to call you Gary now. Man, I'm elevating you, Carrie. Like Carrie said, once you have a community that is big in numbers, we can now monetize the community in another way. So I'll give you an example. I had an agent reach out to me. He's got this huge community of 13,000 members that are all interested in barn dominiums. They are interested in building a barn dominium. They want to drive through the bottom part of their house. Like they are gung-ho on this. Okay. 13,000 people. And I said, well, we can get the leads out of it for people that want to build barn dominiums. We can also get, by the way, people, once they realize how expensive building a barn dominium is, they're going to be like, I just want to buy a regular house, right? So we can get those leads. We can get the referrals because the group is national, right? It is people all over that want to build a barn dominium. So if somebody wants to build a barn dominium in Colorado, he can now get a referral for that. 3 revenue gens. The 4th revenue gen on that is, who do you think wants to be in front of that audience? Put it in the chat. Who wants in? Who wants in front of those eyeballs?
Other realtors for the referrals, as well as contractors and people that are going to be able to service people that want a barn dominium.
And what would those people be willing to do to get in front of those eyeballs? Yes.
Hey.
Yeah, we create a sponsorship package for those people. And we say, great, we will have you do a Facebook Live once a month in our group, educating them about, how to get a loan on a barn dominium, right? Loan officer would pay pretty penny for that. We could, like Jen, in your Facebook group that you're growing, when you have these subject matter experts coming in, like your financial planners or whatnot, eventually we can build a sponsorship package for that. And you can charge them $500, $1,000 a month to do a Facebook Live. That helps you create really good content. And now we've got a marketing strategy that is allowing us to build and scale more because it's paying for itself. So I want to show you guys how I took that blueprint. And that blueprint, we've seen, it's a proven system, it's a proven model, right? Because we've seen it work through direct mail, we've seen it work through email marketing, we've seen it work through Facebook advertising. Now I want to show you guys how I just took that blueprint, because again, like Gary Keller says, like if it ain't, you got to have a model for everything. We know that model works. So how could we apply that model to Facebook groups is what I set out to do 5 years ago. And what I came up with is this. I created a group. Who are my ideal group members? Well, for me, for our referral network, military families that are looking to buy and sell homes are my ideal group members. Well, what do those people want? Is what the next question was. Well, they want advice about moving, right, Jen? People want to know, like, what's it like to live in Colorado? What's it like to live in Florida? So we came up with a fun name, things I wish I would have known before I PCS'd, because we figured it would target anybody that has gone through their first PCS. Now they're on their second or third PCS. For those of you not watching, PCS means moving with the military. It is permanent change of station. And what we realized is that our target market is a 2 PCSer, because after they've PCS once, after they've PCS twice, those people now want to buy a house because they're further along in their military career. They have the financial means to do so. They've lived in enough base housing to know I don't want to get the black lung breathing in all the toxins living on base housing, and renting kind of sucks because I hate paying somebody else's mortgage. So now I'm ready to buy a house. And that's our sweet spot. So we went in for that. We created call to actions in our group. So we created a downloadable and we call it the ultimate PCS guide. We basically surveyed a bunch of military spouses and got all of their tips and tricks and put it into a PDF. We made it real pretty in Canva. And then we put it behind registration. Now we can collect more email. Ooh, feed that database, feed that database. We created some engaging content. I am the first to say I am cheesy and quirky, okay? So I will go in and we'll have some cheesy stuff that we'll post. I do some Facebook Lives. I no longer do Facebook Lives because now I'm highly leveraged. Everybody else does them, which is amazing. But in the beginning, you make it fun and entertaining. Questions, lives, polls. What do you wish you would have known before you moved to Florida? All those types of things go into that. We committed to 12 months of consistency. And let me say, in the beginning, it sucks because you have 4 friends, and one of those friends in your groups is your mom. And your mom, Bertha, is liking all your posts. And you're like, Mom, stop it. It's becoming obvious, right? Oh, you get through the hump. And then before you know it, it starts growing. You hit 500 members, and you hit 1,000 members, then you hit 2,000 members. We're year 3, and things I wish I would have known before I PCS just hit 17,000. And all of those people's information is going into our database. We book appointments because we created a system to pre-screen leads. So when you get into our group, one of the questions that you ask, and I'm going to show you all of this in just a momento, is, hey, do you have an upcoming move? And if so, where are you headed? And we have a tool that collects all those answers in a spreadsheet. And so our team knows exactly who they need to follow up with because we've got hot prospects. We automated that using that tool. So we have an integration that zaps it directly into our CRM. And then we track our results every single week through weekly KPIs. And as you can guess, and as Haley mentioned, we have a rather large following on Facebook groups with all of our groups because we've built a bunch of them. We have over 45,000 group members. And guess who likes paying to get in front of military families? There's a lot of businesses that would pay a pretty penny to get in front of them. So we've got some really cool sponsorship activities that they can participate in. Let me see if this will work. Are you guys seeing my screen? All right. So this is one of our Facebook groups that I mentioned that has the 17,000 members in it. And what I'll show you is how easy it is and how interactive the group has become. So we've got some things. So here's that ultimate PCS guide. Right off the bat, it's in our about section, so we can collect information that way. So if somebody doesn't come into our group, they click on that link, we still capture their information. Yes, please. Inside the group, we've got some featured stuff. So again, we want to know, are you buying or renting? We've got an ultimate PCS guide for you. We've pinned all this up to the top. And then we create engagement posts. So this is one of our posts from one of our team members. We've got a PCS guide, drop a gift below. This allows our team to interact with them, find out where they're headed. We've got some, military specific content in here, but for the most part, the group really carries itself. And so what I love most about our group is that I can go to our group and I can see what people are commenting, what they're posting on. And it gives me a better understanding of marketing messages that we can form in our emails and in our customer acquisition strategy. So as I mentioned, we're getting contact information from everybody that joins our group. Well, I want to show you guys how we do that. We do that through our group questions. So when you get added to our group, now that I'm on the spot, where is it? Let's see, group questions. We can join the group. Nope. Facebook moves all of their things around on me too. Oh, here we go. So here's an example of what we have on our group. So if you were to go and ask to join my group, FYI, my admin team is not going to allow you in because they have a way to snuff out realtors. So we do not allow other realtors into our group. Sorry, friends. If you go and add and you get into the group, we will find you and you will get kicked out. FYI, realtors have very specific profile pictures that allow us to easily identify who you are, and we can kick you out right away. And then you guys are always posting your open houses, so we can find out who you are pretty quick. So these are the questions that we have. So when a group member goes to get added into our group, this is what they see. So we're able to collect where they're moving to. We're able to get their phone number. We do a little enter to win a gift card. And then we are able to get their email address. This is how we're able to add 200 to 300 new contacts to our database every single week. And we do that through automation, through this little tool. It's kind of amazing. So let's cruise back here. How are you going to seize the opportunity in your market, right? I just showed you how I did it in my military market. I'd love for someone to comment or come on speaker and give me an example of their market. And maybe they're living in one of those problems where they're like, man, I don't think I could use a Facebook group for what I'm trying to do. Throw it at me. What are you thinking? Nobody? Jen.
Don't be shy, guys. We know Jen's gonna have like 4 different Facebook groups by the end of her time. The one that she's doing right now is the Financial Freedom for Women, which is really, really awesome, but she's also growing her network with EXP. So Jen, I'm sure you have a bazillion ideas that we're gonna talk about on our coaching conversation. So I'm super excited about that, but I know you guys must be thinking of something. I mean, when you just said something about the barn dominium, like that's just a perfect example of like, this is just a very specific niche that you could literally be connecting with people across the entire United States, receive referrals, give referrals, find agents that now want to tap into this niche. I mean, it can just go unending of this little tiny thing that you have interest in. So like, that was a big aha for me, Lindsay. This can be anything.
It really can be anything. And when I say anything, I started a Facebook group. I'm a runner and I'm a biker. I started a Moms of Peloton Facebook group. Guys, I'm collecting contact information from all these moms that are crazy about riding Peloton. Like you can do anything with this model. And the Moms of Peloton was a fun opportunity that I saw that I wanted to test. Like, could I use this model to work on anything? Well, my goal with the Moms of Peloton was, cool, I bet you I could sell fitness products or affiliate marketing to this group. Let's test it out. And it works. We just happen to be in one of the most lucrative opportunities being real estate agents, but it really can be applied to anything. Yes, Miss Carrie.
So I know multiple people, this might resonate since no one's answering yet, who really are trying to go deep inside of their local market, like hyper local marketing. I have a partner here who is not on this call, but I know she's going to watch the recording. She was very excited about it. I also have suggested she maybe go through your coaching, but she is already done a great job with 2 Facebook groups. And so I want to hear your feedback on this, not only for her, but for anybody else, because I feel like there are more people than not doing this as realtors, or maybe have thought of this or have started something and then didn't know what to do with it. She has her county, because of the area that she's in Virginia, her county, she has become as known as the expert. But what she started to do is bring other business owners in that county together so that they can continue to bring value to the consumer. But there's just one of everybody. So like, there's not other realtors in that group. There's not other. So it's a local business owners bringing value, contributing, offering coupon codes. She has a really cool thing around the holidays, spotlighting all the different business owners. She's gotten a lot of business from that. And then the other one is for local neighborhood, because it's a pretty large neighborhood of a few hundred people. She does food trucks. She does National Night Out. She does Neighborhood Watch. And she's been real hyper focused on that. And what she's done well is creating the relationship, which has gotten her many listings. She's gotten many listings over the years from these 2. But, think about just that. When you start that, your idea is, I'm just going to invite people to it. And then you're at a loss of like what to do from there. I feel like it's the idea, I get people in the group, and then it's like, now what do I do, right? It can be that simple as just doing one for your neighborhood, right, Lindsay? Start there, literally.
Yes. It really can be as simple as starting something from your neighborhood. And a lot of what I talk about in the Facebook group coaching is, what are those content, pillars, and how do we keep that group engaged, right? So if you were to create something, I'll give you an example. If I was going to go out and create, and let's say that I only wanted to sell listings in my neighborhood, and I can say that I've done this. So I created a Facebook group for my neighborhood, and it was Iron Mountain Ranch in San Antonio, Texas, right? So what I would post in that group is just area information like, oh, hey, there's going to be a pool party for the 4th of July coming up. That's really exciting. Oh, did you see HEB opened? Love fresh tortillas. You know what I mean? So I'm posting, area, and I see Judd's laughing. She knows. She's probably lived in Texas. So, you're posting all this information and all you're doing is creating engagement. What else are we doing? We're also positioning ourselves as the expert. Guys, I haven't sold real estate in over 6 years. I still get calls from my neighbors in Iron Mountain Ranch, where I haven't lived in almost 8 years, thinking I still live there because of that marketing. And I don't do anything in it. Nothing, guys, nothing anymore. But I was real consistent about it. And I was always posting stuff, and they were like, hey, you're that realtor gal that was always selling, and hey, we're thinking about selling our house. So it positions you as the expert. The one thing that we want to do as realtors is we want to be that number, what Gary Keller says is you can only remember the top 2 realtors that send you the most stuff, right? So think about everything that you're getting in your mail. Think about everything that you're getting online. Your neighborhood, your ideal farm is getting the same stuff. What can you do to be consistently staying in front of them? Facebook groups, sending contact information out, interesting information around what's happening in your neighborhood is just one way to stay top of mind. And what I love about groups, okay, so let me ask this question. I should have asked it at the beginning. Is anybody confused between the difference of a page and a group? Because that is an important distinction. Many of us realtors have a page, and our page is where we have our cute realtor pictures, and it's where we share like all of our market updates, and we're like, why is nobody liking my content? I am taking hours to pull together this content. Nobody likes it. Well, it is part of that one-way strategy. Pages are needed. We need our pages. Continue to do that, friends. Just think of the group as the 2-way engagement where I can have a conversation with someone. So you want a page and a group, because the group is going to drive engagement. It is going to drive conversation. That is where you're going to get the leads. Nobody's going to go to your realtor page and be like, girl, I love all those open house things that you constantly are posting. No, people want to know that you're a real person. The group allows you to be that real person for them. It allows you to build a relationship. So ways that you can start on your Facebook group journey is you can seek out experts and pick their brains. Okay. You can trial and error away. Ask me how long it took me to figure all this out. A long time, 5 years. You can ask your market center for training. The beautiful thing about EXP is you guys are so decentralized that you guys probably have online resources that you could go through, you could shift through, you could see if you could figure that out. You could go on Upwork and find someone, you could pay them to do it, right? But now you're paying someone else and trusting that they understand what they're doing, and that if once they do build it, if it breaks, how are you going to fix it if you don't know how your car works? You're always going to be holding to somebody else. Or you could do nothing. Hey, and you can hope Facebook goes away. I don't know about you, but Facebook's probably not going anywhere. It is still the biggest platform out there in terms of social media. I don't think you should have all of your eggs in a basket, that basket for sure. However, it is the basket right now that has the most eggs in it. Or you could learn from someone who's already done it and built it. You could walk through exactly how to set up your group and your automation process week by week. You can join a community of other community builders like Carrie, like Haley, that have already gone through this course, have already built their groups, and you can ask them questions. And then you can take advantage of what's working today and stay abreast of what is where we're going to pivot tomorrow. I mean, there's been a lot of pivots thrown at us, right? And there's a lot of talk on groups. From everything that I research and stay on top of marketing wise, Groups aren't going anywhere. Facebook is looking for ways to monetize them. So it's going to be interesting, I think, over the next couple of years with groups. However, we are building the groups to build our database. So even if Facebook says, we're turning off the group feature tomorrow, you guys are still collecting the data. You still own the data. So your data is not going anywhere. That's why it's important to keep your data. So I think Carrie had mentioned a couple of times, we have a online group course that I teach, which is how to set up your Facebook group. And I go through every single week exactly how I built my groups. I literally give you the play-by-play. Haley and Carrie went through the course. They can tell you, I don't need to tell you. But we really hold your hand, walk you through it. So by the end of the 8 weeks, you have an up and running functional model. One of the group members that just went through our course, can I talk about Heather, Carrie? Oh my gosh, Heather is killing it. So Heather went through the course. Carrie works with Heather. Heather specializes in short sales. And when I say she's a unicorn, she is a unicorn. She literally every single week would go through, she would complete all the homework. She built out her groups exactly the way that I taught it. And she is adding people to the group and she's adding people into her database every single week. And I check in with her and she's like, it's amazing and it's working. And she's signing people up for the blueprint. I mean, Carrie, you can attest to it. I mean, you're seeing her success too.
Absolutely. It's really, how do you take your niche or something you're passionate about and build a community and a relationship, and then collect the data, build a larger database, own your own data, and really just have automation behind it. Because it's really, I think what has helped her so much is having the system and the automation, because it was already in her head of what she wanted to do. It's just when you do it entrepreneurially, it's not as consistent. It's just, you don't get around all the things, it just doesn't work the same way. And so being able to plug into a system has really created a lot of fast growth. And it's really, really helping her grow her business and her organization. So if I would just like to encourage you all to say, like, if you've thought of doing a Facebook group or you started one and then it's just dwindled because you just didn't know what to do with it. I was that person like for 5 different times. There is a way that you can really systemize this to where you don't feel so overwhelmed and you can just stay in your strength zone and what you're passionate about and go find other people. And within EXP, we have a very, very unique opportunity that other people don't necessarily have, because we can attract the clients, we can attract people throughout the country, throughout the world. We have no geographical limitations. We can easily send and receive referrals in our company. We can actually use it to recruit to our revenue share group, because now we have value that we can add to other people's lives. We bring more people into that with us, and then it makes the heavy workload lighter because we can all do a Facebook Live once a week instead of one of us doing it. But somebody has to start it and pioneer it and use their own strength and their own passion. But you can dial it back as hyper local as your own neighborhood of 500 homes and dominate the listings if you want to do it this way too. And so I would highly recommend, if you've thought of something or you have some groups that just aren't taking off, of considering doing this group coaching. It's super affordable. It's group. I mean, Lindsey's been amazing. I think that the ROI on this is very, very strong. It would be a much greater ROI than buying leads or maybe sending out a bazillion postcards and waiting for 2 years. And I don't think it is going away. I think social media continues to just dominate. It might change, but it's not going away. And I wanted to bring this to you guys because Haley and I talked to many of you. A lot of you have so much opportunity and you're looking at ways in which you can lead generate. Also, the market is changing and shifting. The riches are in the niches. Get into your niche, get into where you're excited, where you have a community already around you, or where you could easily do this, and just go make it happen. And that is going to help you continue to succeed even as the market changes. You aren't going to have to worry about that because you're going to be surrounded with people and you're going to gain relationships and you're going to create engagement in the community. And then you're going to be able to have business opportunities and continue to, build wealth for you and your family and make income to pay your bills. Like, you truly will. You got to get focused and you've got to have a system and a process behind it. So the point today was to give you some ideas, some thought processes, some tips, some suggestions to meet Lindsey, because she's awesome. And we've been, grateful to know her. And then, if it's for you, the coaching, we're going to have her put all our contact information right now in the link, in the chat. So you have it. I'll post it in the live stream. you can easily get in contact with her and find out a little bit more about this. But truly, even if it's not, maybe it just inspires you to go back to your Facebook page. I'm sorry, group, not page. Don't confuse it. And your page, like update your page, but get to your group or start a group that you've been thinking about. Hopefully it inspired you to go, okay, yeah, this is a sign I need to just start doing this. I can't be afraid of it. I just need to go take some action today. That was our hope for the call today.
Well, and I have to say, like, I'll give you my story as to why I decided to grow my own groups, right? Because there's a lot of groups out there that we were participating in, right? There's tons of military spouse groups that are moving. They're all over. They're bigger than my groups. And at the time, I was just in everybody else's groups. And you guys are in groups. You're in realtor referral groups, right? That are always sharing referrals. And then what I noticed was, you know, I started getting really successful at people saying like, man, you're moving to Colorado, work with Lindsey, work with Lindsey, work with Lindsey, go with Lindsey, right? We all have that, right? In outside groups, in groups that are not bars that we own. Well, guys, I can tell you from experience, what happens when you start getting noticed like that. There was a couple people that didn't appreciate it, and I got kicked out of all the Facebook groups, guys, like literally kicked out of every single group that I was in. So to give you the ramifications of what that meant for my business was there was one Facebook group that I generated over 13 million in sales from. I didn't own the group. Okay. This is the group that somebody else owned. When I got kicked out of that group, what do you think my first thought was for my business? Oh crap. Oh crap. So it was that moment that I was like, no, I will never be beholden to anybody else's rules. Nobody's going to kick me out. So it was that moment that I was like, I am going to build my own groups. And so that's what started my journey on building my own groups. You can have a group of 200 people and it can yield you $13 million. You can have a group of 20,000 and it can yield you 13 million in sales. It's all about what niche you're in, understanding what they care about and giving them value. And once you get that happening in your group and you keep the group clean, people are going to come back and they're going to want more. And that's the most exciting thing about growing your own groups. If anybody's interested in the group training, I've put a phone number here. You can text waitlist and it will add you to our next Facebook group course launch waitlist. So we're going to be opening up the next launch here soon. We're not going to do it around the holidays. Don't you worry, my friends. I love mountain biking and skiing way too much to do that to anyone. But I do want to make sure that you guys are added to the list when we do launch our next course, because I want to see everybody really build something that's meaningful to them and create a community that is engaged. And when you create community, guys, man, we've gotten to the point now where we have these loyal fans that just love what we're doing and they share what we're doing and they grow our community for us. Yeah. And that's how I'm able to mountain bike all week, because other people that are, you know, excited about what we're doing, they share for us. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, would love to have you in our next group course. Carrie said
Lindsey,
she's going to share my info. Yes.
I don't see your information. Did you type it out to everyone or am I just not seeing it? Haley, do you see it?
I'll stick it in the chat.
Yes.
So we're
texting a text. Give us the number to text to and the word to text.
Yes. Are you guys seeing my screen or no? It should be on the screen.
Oh, it's on the screen. I was looking in the chat so I could copy and paste it for the live stream. Okay.
Let me put it here. Okay. And you know what's fun about this, Carrie, is that this is using
follow-up speed. I know. Those of you that have already met Peter Pacetto and follow-up speed, Lindsey is using that. A lot of our people are using that as well, especially if you have something where you need to, collect contact information quickly and put it in a system so that you're not doing this all manually. This is all about automation.
Yes. So I just got connected with Tulia. I just got connected with Peter's follow-up speed. And I will tell you, once you guys text this text the 719-356-3322, that goes directly into my follow-up speed. Here's the cool part, guys. when you text that number, you get added automatically into my database. It adds a tag so I know that you're part of my wait list. And then there's the automation that's going to kick in. You're going to get a text message from me that's going to ask for your email. It's going to automatically update your email and your contact for me. I don't have to do it. And then it's going to send you an invite to our private Facebook group that I opened just for you guys. So I've got a mastermind group that I opened just for you guys. So it's going to send you a link to that as well. And I'll put that in the chat too. But it is pretty phenomenal. I'm sold on the follow-up speed.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, for anybody who needs that sort of automation like that, especially doing some things, maybe you guys are starting to do an investor seminar and you want to get it out to a lot of people. This could be a great tool for you. Obviously, a lot of you use KB Core and there's a lot of automation in that as well. Use what you have. Don't change all your systems at once, especially if you're focusing on Facebook groups and you're trying to do the automation there. That could be a little overwhelming for you. I don't recommend changing all systems at one time unless you've got staff to do it, right? Awesome. So Lindsey, you've been awesome. I hope a lot of you are inspired. Think of your Facebook group. If you haven't already started one, go start one. Or if you've got one that you want to rejuvenate, we'll continue to make sure that you can get in touch with Lindsey if you want to be in her group coaching. I'm sure we'll have Lindsey back as well to maybe do another one, just to kind of maybe do a Q&A on some of it if some of you are going to start prior to her next training. So thanks again, you guys, Lindsey, for your time as always with your kiddos home. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haley.
Thanks, Lindsey.
Thanks, guys.